The DJI Osmo Pocket 4P is officially here, and it has a huge upgrade with this brand new telephoto lens to give you even more versatility while you're out shooting. This video is everything you need to know about the 4P, including how the new features perform in the real world, how to choose the right focal length while shooting, and whether you should be going for this 4P over the Pocket 4. The Osmo Pocket series is such a good option if you want an unobtrusive, small camera with a really stable gimbal to film with. I've been using the Pocket 3 since it came out, then I moved to the Pocket 4, and now I've been using the 4P for a while, so I'm excited to show you my footage now that I've had plenty of time with the camera. And thank you to DJI for sponsoring this video. This is not a review of the camera, I'm going to show you how to use it to get the best results, along with lots of sample footage from outdoors to low light. The Pocket 4P has a dual camera system, so let's start with the 1x camera, which has a new 1-inch type sensor with 17 stops of dynamic range. This makes a really big difference when you're out filming with the camera. You'll notice that in some high contrast scenes that you can still see all the details of the highlights and shadows. I'll also have some comparison shots for you to look at between the 4 and 4P a little later on in this video. I'm going to be filming in as many different lighting situations as possible so you can get a really good idea of what both cameras look like out on location. The 4P has the same 20mm f2 focal length as the 4, which I find is a great lens for filming and vlogging. So I want to show you out on location what this camera looks like for vlogging. So this is the main shot that you're seeing right here. This is what it looks like with your arm fully outstretched. So I'm still nice and prominent in the frame, but you can still see plenty of details in the background, which is really nice. And then if your arm gets a little bit tired and you want to rest it closer up against your body, this is what that looks like. Again, I'm still very prominent in the frame, but you can still see a lot of the location, which I really like. We have upgraded 10-bit D-Log 2 in the 4P's wide camera, so I'm going to be filming in a mixture of normal color profile, D-Log, and D-Log 2 so you can see what they all look like. Base ISO for D-Log 2 is ISO 100, which is really great to see so you can have clean shadows. Next is what we are all wanting to see more of, which is the 4P's new Telephoto 3x camera. This is using a 1/1.28-inch CMOS sensor. This lens is the full frame equivalent of 60mm. So this camera is able to film with D-Log and normal color profiles, so again, I have examples of both to share with you. Something I really like is that you can use active track with the telephoto lens, so I definitely put it to the test. It does do a really good job at staying sticky on the subject and following me around nice and smoothly. We're going to see how strong the gimbal is at 3x zoom because we've got the Opera House kind of peeking out here. So I'm going to get just like a one-handed walking shot right now. Both the 1x and 3x cameras film in 420 10-bit, and to get the best looking footage, I'm using an ND filter so I can keep a shutter speed of 1/100 when I'm filming in 4K 50p and 1/50th of a second when I'm filming in 4K 25p. This helps keep your footage looking nice and smooth. You're able to film in vertical mode with both cameras as well. Vertical video is up to 3K 60p. So when should you be using each lens? The 1x camera is, as usual with pocket cameras, your go-to option for general filming, filming in tight spaces, and vlogging because there is a nice balance between capturing you and also showing off your surroundings. On the other hand, the 60mm telephoto lens is a great option when you want more versatility to your filming, for creating more cinematic looking scenes and getting extra B-roll shots to help establish the scene. I have a really good shot of the Opera House here, and this will be perfect for the telephoto lens, just to zoom in because it is quite far away from here, and you've got all these branches kind of framing the shot here, which looks really nice. Telephotos are great to create dreamy footage with, as it can transform the location you're shooting in and help you focus on certain details in your frame. It makes your locations look so different to what you see with your own eyes. The reason for this, since it's a long focal length, it's going to compress the distance between your subject and the background. So this makes the elements in the far background appear much closer and larger and helps your subject stand out in the frame. I do also find it really handy using longer focal lengths like this when I'm in a busy location. That compression, along with the fast f1.8 aperture of this lens, can help remove distractions since you're shooting with such a narrow field of view. So this is a really good example where the telephoto lens comes in really handy to get specific shots. So right here I'm using the 1x camera, and it's a nice shot. You can see a lot of everything, but I really want to focus in on that water, which looks so beautiful. So this is where I zoom into 3x. And now you've got that beautiful shot where you've got an even emphasis between the buildings and the water. It just like compresses the scene and lets you focus in on specific things in your location. For my photography, when I'm traveling, I find having a 35mm wide-angle lens and an 85 or 70-200 telephoto to be the best combination to be able to capture anything I need while on a trip. And now, this Pocket 4P has that combination on a single gimbal. Speaking of photography, you can use photo mode in the 4P with up to 37 megapixel photos, which works across both the wide-angle lens and telephoto lens. So here are some samples of both for you to take a closer look at. Before we get to the comparisons between the 4 and 4P, I want to take you through the best shortcuts to get the most out of this camera. So let's start with my most used shortcut. When you turn on the Pocket 4 Pro, the camera's going to be facing away from you, and then you can use the joystick to move the camera around. You can then double press the joystick to reset the camera back to center. Then you triple press the joystick, and it's going to turn to face you so you can get a selfie shot, and then again you can move the camera around with the joystick and you can double press to reset it. Another shortcut that I always use when I'm recording are hand gestures. So when you do this, it's going to start face tracking, and when you do this, it's going to start recording the clip. So I do that all the time while I'm using this. Just like the 4, the 4P also has these 2 new buttons. Out of the box, the left button zooms in and the right button zooms out when you long press them. The zoom button can be single, double, and triple pressed for different zoom functions. The C button can be customized, so I'm using it as a shortcut to switch between photo and video mode. Let's do an audio test. So far you've been listening to my lav mic. Now I'm going to switch over to the internal microphone of the Osmo Pocket 4 Pro. I'm going to talk for a little while so you can get a feel for what that all sounds like. There are quite a lot of noises right now. You've got the breeze in the trees, and there's also lots of ferries going past which are quite loud. They almost sound like helicopters. Next we have the Mic Mini 2, which is this one right here. This is wireless recording only. So again, I'll talk a little bit so you can hear what that sounds like. So that was with noise cancellation switched off. Now I've switched it over to high, and I'm going to keep talking so you can see if my voice sounds different and if all the ambient sounds sound different as well. And then we also have the Mic 3. So this one is wireless, but you can do onboard recording, and it's 32-bit flow audio. So again, I'll talk a little bit. The sounds are exactly the same. We've got the motors of the boat, the breeze, and all of that noise going on. So that was with noise cancellation off again, and now we've switched it on and it's set to high. So again, I'm going to continue talking and you can hear if my voice sounds any different and if you can still hear all the ambient sounds. Now that it's gotten quite a lot darker, I also want to show you the fill light. So right now it's off, but you've got 3 strength settings. So this is the weakest setting, then the next one, and the strongest setting. And you also have 3 temperature options. So this one right here is the coolest, then you have the warmest temperature, and then you have the one in between, which is the one that I use the most. But yeah, this is really helpful when you've got some backlight. So the sun is just set right behind me. So in front of me is quite dark with the light off, and this just helps balance me in the scene. Now, if you're wondering whether you should go for the Pocket 4 or the 4P and what the differences are, I filmed some comparison footage for you to take a look at. The biggest and most defining difference between these 2 cameras is the telephoto lens of the 4P. If you're someone who naturally finds yourself always zooming in to get the shot, you want to capture more cinematic, compressed shots, or you like to create more sequences in your filming to establish scenes, then this telephoto lens is going to come in very handy for those scenarios. The 4 has a single 1x lens only with some limited digital zoom options. I want to show you the zoom range between both cameras. So we're going to start with the Pocket 4. This can go all the way up to 4x zoom, which looks like this. And now with the Pocket 4 Pro, you can go all the way up to 12x zoom. So I'll show you what that looks like, and I'll also put them up side by side for you. So if you want that versatility while you're out and about shooting, this is going to be the biggest reason for you to go for the 4P. A few other upgrades we're seeing in the 4P is that while both cameras have a wide-angle lens, with that 1x camera, the 4P has 17 stops of dynamic range compared to the 4, which has 14 stops. So you'll be able to see more highlights and shadows in the footage, and it'll be easier to get balanced exposure in more scenes. This new sensor isn't just giving you a dynamic range boost, I find it also helps the footage look sharper and cleaner. Speaking of shadows and highlights, the 4P has upgraded 10-bit D-Log 2, which I'm a really big fan of. I found that it made it a lot easier to get the correct exposure in high contrast scenes, and you're able to see more details in the frame because of it. Both the 4 and 4P are able to film in up to 4K 240 FPS with the wide-angle camera, but the 4P also has 4K 200 FPS with the telephoto camera. By using this, you're able to get some really cinematic shots with this combination of telephoto lens and slow-mo. The Pocket 4P is now using Active Track 8 compared to the Pocket 4 Active Track 7, and you are able to track with both the 1x and 3x cameras very consistently. There's some extra upgrades from the Pocket 3 that are shared in both the Pocket 4 and 4P. So some of those are that you can use App Glamour Effect on all 3 cameras, but the 4 series also has built-in beauty filters, which is known as Beautify. This way, you don't need to export clips from your phone with these effects such as skin smoothing, for example. Now you can have them burnt into your footage instead, which makes things so much easier. Finally, the 4 and 4P have internal storage, which I absolutely love. I have been using this every single time I film with it, and it also has a micro SD card slot. There's an upgraded battery compared to the 3, USB 3, and improved transfer speeds. The Pocket 4P builds on an already great camera, giving you even more versatility when you're out in the field thanks to its new telephoto lens. I hope seeing all my example footage has helped you out. Let me know in the comments what you think about it.